such a long time ago. Jesus Christ.
I didn't play basketball a lot.
It didn't even say Jason Williams.
Nah, man. I was always a 3-point shooter, and I'm talking about Peja Stojakovic, one of the best 3-point shooters
I mean,
of the 2000s.
I don't know shit about basketball, so it escapes me.
I know that's kind of weird because you're black. It's pretty sure it's like a rite of passage.
Yeah.
I don't think basketball has to do anything with the rite of passage about being black. But
I swear, man, you and Logic are just not black enough. I'm just kidding.
Let's leave that boy alone, man. His feelings are hurt enough. All right. Anyways, welcome back to another episode of Culture by Culture, you guys. It's your boy Taylor B, and I'm joined by my wonderful co-host Daniel and DJ. Today, we're going to hopefully do things a little bit differently and run you guys down a couple of things that happened recently. I know we've been gone for a little bit, but hopefully this will be like a cool little welcome back show. I know COVID's still out there running amok. How are you guys feeling about all that crap? I know you're about to be out of here, DJ. You excited? How are you feeling right now?
I got most of my house kind of packed up and ready to leave Washington. I mean, it's unfortunate I got to go to the East Coast, but hey, I'm looking forward to new beginnings, moving into a new apartment, having all the shit that I got to take care of, and hopefully I can come back. But
I swear, if you come back a Patriots fan, you should just stay home.
No, absolutely not.
That'd be wild. What about you, Daniel? How's everything going, man?
I've been feeling the anger rise in me a lot lately.
Oh yeah, I didn't see it. I know.
I'm feeling the dark side creep up a little bit. The longer I keep hearing about wearing a mask, the longer I keep hearing about how many people are dying across the country and across the world, and then I'm hearing that the numbers are being fudged, and then I hear that they're not being fudged, and that they're actually less numbers than what they're reporting, less numbers than what there actually are. I'm so confused and I'm so lost right now that I can feel myself breaking right now. It's all because it's the news's fault. Like, I'm tired of hearing from the news. I'm just turning it off.
It's funny. I saw a post recently that read somewhere along the lines of the thing that makes it hard to believe the media sometimes, or like especially when Facebook's involved in like trying to block out a post or something, because a lot of people are pointing out that this post by some lady who like believes in like having sex with some kind of like alien or something, like
she believes in some crazy stuff. She's thinking that it's all spiritual, like she's thinking it's all demons and stuff like that are attacking people. I just sent that to my pastor yesterday. I was like, yo, check this lady out.
Well, this lady said that there is a drug out there that we already have access to. I guess that supposedly Donald Trump has talked about or try to promote. Forget what the name of it escapes me right now.
Hydroxychloroquine.
There you go. And basically people were like, oh, since Facebook took this down, I found it again and, share it before it gets taken down. But somebody pointed out that one of the things that makes it look really bad, that like you focus so much on this like one video when there's like so much like false information everywhere, that it almost makes it look like a conspiracy versus like just kind of putting out a video out there that says like, just so you guys know, that is not legit, and like kind of making it more fact based versus just like hunting that video down and just trying to take it out or whatever. It looks more conspiracy theory, like just because of like the atmosphere, like, oh, there's all these shady dealings going on already, and now when something appears to possibly be a kind of cure or a breakthrough, now all of a sudden Facebook wants to get rid of it, and then you throw in the people that support Trump, and it's like, oh, look, they're just trying to like discredit him, so they're gonna go and and run amok and try to get rid of all these videos so that nobody believes in him or something, stuff like that. And it's like, I kind of get where that person was coming from. It's just one of those things right now where like nobody is on the same page. Like the news isn't on the same page. I don't know if I could I don't know what doctors I can honestly listen to right now. Definitely don't get your news from social media like Facebook or Instagram, even though that seems to be a freaking whacked out source of information a lot of the times. I try not to take anything like that's serious from Instagram or like Facebook or Twitter or whatever. I typically look for like entertainment news if I'm going to be on there. Nothing like that's vitally important. Or if I do look at something and it happens to seem vitally important, such as COVID related or related to any other going ons, then I will usually go ahead and back up back up those claims and do a little bit of research myself on Google, find out what's true or false. Because there's a lot of websites out there too that will tell you, oh, this is false, or this part is true, this part is false, stuff like that. And I know
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
That's yeah, because Trump's been saying that he's been taking that drug for the last 3 months. Like ever since this pandemic started, he said he's been taking it. And he's like, I'm still around and I don't have it and all that. And then you hear that doctor backing up those same claims, talking about, yes, I'm giving it to all my patients, and all my patients have come back within 7 days and they're completely healed, and the virus is eradicated and all that. So I can definitely see them just going, nope, this is the only person that's even talking credibly about what Trump is saying. All the news I've seen is them talking against Trump. So finally somebody came out and was just like, oh yeah, Trump was actually right. And they were like, nope, get it out of here. It's weird. Yeah. It's the weirdest way to get rid of it. Stuff like that. So other than that, though, it's just, I think the most part is just the disconnect we've had with people. I've seen so many people come through the church and this and that I haven't hugged them since December. Like it's amazing. Like how you notice how much you miss people.
Oh yeah. Like I get it completely, but it kind of sucks though. Like in this, with all this information and all, like you guys were saying, like all this stuff that comes on Facebook and on Instagram and on like even regular news outlets. There's so much people talking bad and good about specific situations, whether it comes to Trump or the virus, that we don't really like. There's such a huge disconnect and divide in the community as a whole, just because we don't know what to believe for most cases, and it kind of sucks because it's like all this stuff that comes out, like I want to believe that we're close to some sort of cure or some sort of like something that can help us fight this off, because it really does suck. Like I wanted to go home. I wanted to be able to come see my family for at least a week and see you guys, hang out, be there for a couple of days, just to at least be in town. I've been gone for the last 4 years, but like shit like this is making it impossible for me to do that sort of shit. So I'm really hoping that we move forward and we get something better sooner rather than later.
Absolutely. So since we've been gone, obviously a couple things have happened, to make headlines and, get the internet uproar. One of those things that I just want to touch on really quick that I actually didn't add into the docket was the whole Will Smith and Jada Pinkett thing. Just real briefly, what are you guys' thoughts on that whole situation with the entanglement? First of all, the word entanglement. Second of all, August Alsina trying to divulge those details so much, and then third of all, and I don't really have anything to really base this on, but just August Alsina basically being an out of line hoe, and Will Smith clearly being able to check his people that he's got in his pocket.
Well, you want me to go first, DJ, or you got something you want to tackle?
I really don't have a lot of opinions on this.
All right, I'll go. So first of all, I want to say if the roles were reversed, if Willow had brought around some friends and Will Smith was messing with somebody that was 20 years younger than him, okay, he wouldn't be getting a pass the way Jada's getting a pass right now. But I feel but that word entanglement is completely crazy. I haven't heard that word in 6 years until she brought that up. I was like, her publicist had her comb in the dictionary, look for something to distract them from what you actually did. So it's pretty amazing to me. I can't believe that, one, that she didn't know what was going on. I feel so bad for August Alsina, because when he first came out and was just like, yeah, I'm messing with Jada, he got so much flack from people. Oh, you're such a liar. It doesn't work. You won't. She for what? She has Will Smith. She don't need you and this and that. And he was like, yo, I'm in love with this chick. She's supposed to love me too, type of thing. And he was really going in on her, going in with her and stuff like that. And nobody believed him. And then now we skip to this and she's like, yes, we got into an entanglement. And like, no, just say what it was, woman. You was messing around with the dude. You took advantage of him in his weakest moment. Let's just be honest, okay?
It's funny because the word choice is obviously not the greatest, but she did like if you look it up, apparently it fits the situation like perfectly. It's just that I'm sure most people want it to be like, yes, we were fucking, or yes, we had a relationship, versus like that word. Like nobody says that in real life, like nobody's walking around like, oh yeah, I'm just in an entanglement right now. Like nobody, people will say I'm in a complicated relationship before they say I'm in an entanglement. Yeah. That's how that works typically. What about you, DJ? Thoughts?
I mean, I personally think like I usually don't try to stress myself on like all these sort of stuff that goes along with
Yeah, because it's not important in
yeah.
in the grand scheme of things, for sure.
But what I mean about it is like at this point, I'm not to doubt on anything that Will Smith has done, but not to say that he's unfaithful as well. But it just seems as though in the media, especially whenever it comes to all these pop stars or all these movie stars or anything, you always have these sort of storylines go on. These always storylines of people that are having these entanglements, as we would say, with other people. And so for me, it's kind of like, man, it's just another story. It's just something to get our minds off of the things that are important that are going on. But personally, I mean, I feel the same way as Daniel. It just kind of sucks that like if the shoe was on the other foot, how many people would drag Will Smith through the ground? They would tear him up, fucking say he was the worst possible person, say that it would like almost completely derail his career, and that the fact that it's kind of not going the same way for her. And I know it has to do with how we see things and like as a society, how we notice things and how we see things, but it's still kind of messed up.
For sure. I for one definitely believe that Will Smith has had his entanglements or whatever you want to call it, but I think that he was able just to pick people who were better at keeping their mouth shut. Personally, that's a powerful family. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. August Alsina, though, is an artist, and a lot of times artists kind of just are kind of a little bit crazy. There's rumors about Will Smith and Liza Koshy, rumors about Will Smith and Margot Robbie. You know, a lot of young women, obviously, and I mean, if that's what they're doing, that's what they're doing. I think it would probably be a lot easier for the both of them if they were just honest about it and straightforward. I talked to multiple people about it too, actually, and most people were saying that, oh, I could have sworn they admitted to being in an open relationship, or like, you know, that they were like, you know, jumping around, you know, with different people or whatever. I have never heard that in an interview or seen it in an interview. So to me, that is not public knowledge. But a lot of people that I've talked to said that, oh yeah, like I thought it was like public knowledge or whatever. Nah, not to me. Anyway, though, moving on from there, something that happened, another complicated relationship that's happened recently. Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez. I don't have the full details of the story, and I don't think anybody at all has the full details of this story, except for the people that were actually involved in the incident, right? Allegedly, the story runs around something like Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion may have been sleeping together or have been kind of like hooking up or something, linking up. I don't know. I don't really know what a 6-foot woman wants with a 5'3" guy, unless he's like hanging like a stallion. You know, I have no idea.
Short people need love too, Craig.
Yeah. But I know that same night, Megan Thee Stallion, Kylie Jenner, and Tory Lanez were all seen on live together. There's rumors that maybe Megan was jealous of Kylie Jenner a little bit or whatever. There was a rumor that was debunked by Megan Thee Stallion herself actually on live that was saying that she was like beating the hell out of him or whatever. And some people were saying, oh, maybe he shot her in retaliation, which, let me say this first and foremost. A man should never shoot a woman unless his life is literally in danger. That's the only time it is acceptable for a man to shoot a woman. Other than that, hell no. Like, Tory Lanez is mad pussy. I don't know what you want to cancel him, get rid of him, whatever. If all this is like culminates the way that it looks like it's going to culminate, it is a little strange though, because right now we don't really have the full story, even from Megan. Like, Megan has never said that Tory Lanez took a gun out and shot me in both my feet. She hasn't openly said that. She's only said that she was attacked with the intention of her being harmed. And she said she got shot in both her feet, which in the Joe Budden podcast, they talked about that having the foot has like the most concentration of bones in your body. And the fact that neither of her feet got bones injured, that is a little bit odd. Also odd that we don't even know the location of where this happened at. Kylie Jenner hasn't said anything about it. Tory Lanez hasn't said anything about it. And he is out on bail right now. And Megan Thee Stallion hasn't just come right out and said, oh, Tory Lanez shot me, or said her side of the story, which totally makes sense. If you know, if there's a pending case or whatever, you don't really want to speak out in public about it.
Yeah.
But I don't really see what stops you from saying Tory's name personally. I don't know how that works legally. Maybe there's something in there where she can't really just say, oh, he shot me, because that'll affect the integrity of the case or something. I don't know. But it is a strange case for sure. there's wild rumors going around, obviously, and I'm sure sometime here soon, we'll either hear from Tory or we'll find out, yes, there is a case against him, because that stuff is going to be in public, baby. You can't hide the cases, can't hide the case like that. Somebody going to find out, and then they'll be like, oh, look what I found, and put it all over the internet. That's just how that works. That's just how that works.
Yeah, don't let none of this fool you. Don't let none of this distract you that that Johnny Depp case is still happening. But first of all, but yeah, I pretty much can agree with you on the fact that at any point in time, if anybody pulls out a gun, it should definitely be because your life is in danger. Okay. Even if you were to shoot somebody, I'd rather take the butt kicking than to murder somebody. First of all,
yeah, for real.
And then to shoot somebody in the foot, that don't make no sense to me either way. That seems really. Go ahead.
Surprisingly, that takes some good aim. I don't know how many rounds were fired, but to shoot somebody in both of their feet, that's some hell of an aim for sure.
You just got to hit them once. You got to hit them once in one foot. They're going to probably go to the ground.
But she got shot. She said she got shot in both her feet. Both of them.
You need to be out here training these cops, apparently. First, I'm just going to put that out there.
I need to be out here training cops. Oh, shit.
But yeah, both of the feet. That's first of all, the first one, somebody's going to go down and be hurt. The second one, that's just malicious. I mean, come on now, you don't need to do the second one. But I feel like she's going to come back stronger than ever. A little bit of a hop here and there, but I feel like she's going to get back to her music career pretty soon here, because I know since it has the most amount of bones, I believe your foot is like one of the faster healing limbs on your body is your foot. Because I remember Cam got the surgery on his foot, and there were some other athletes back in that had broken foots, like straight up broken foots right there on the field, and they were back the next 8 months later and stuff like that. And those are athletes that's after
8 months later.
Yeah, bro. So
that's a quick recovery time to you. Dang.
I mean, that's it. You got to look at the perspective though. For I think it would be faster for her because she doesn't have to do as much as the athletes have to do on their foot.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm saying. I think she'll bounce back. As far as for Tori's career, I don't know. I don't hear no more hard bars out of you. You better just stick to slow R&B. I'm sorry, for the next 4 years.
That's where like the biggest complication is, because right now people are calling for the deportation of Tory Lanez, and the other complicated thing is, since he hasn't said anything, or we don't really know what fully happened, we have basically a rumor that says that Tory Lanez shot Megan Thee Stallion in both her feet. That's like the alleged rumor right now, because he was arrested for a felony gun charge or whatever. We don't know if anybody else was there. We don't know if potentially maybe he was protecting her or something. We don't know if he was just being drunk and stupid and just pulled out a gun or whatever and fired it off or whatever. We don't really have any of the pieces, and that is what makes it so weird, is that this has happened 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we still don't have all the answers yet, as far as oh yes, he did this, or people have even come on the internet and said count your days, Tory, or whatever, because I'm assuming, just like us, they think that he did it. So until we get the answers to say oh yeah, he pulled it out because of whatever reason and decided to shoot her in their feet. That just sounds crazy though. Why would you throw your career away when, one, you're from a foreign country and you have a weapon, but you don't have a license for it, more than likely? And two, you're a famous star, Megan's a famous star, and you were just hanging around with a Jenner right now.
So
what in God's name could possess you?
That's the kicker. That's what did it. You get a little crazy when you hang out by one of them.
That's a rumor too, that he was flirting with Kylie a little bit too much and Megan didn't like it. But once again, these are just all rumors. A lot of it seems to be hearsay. Megan says that she didn't do anything deserving of what happened to her. So until she finally comes forward and says something, because I hear she's not even really cooperating with the police, but until she comes forward and says something, or somebody else that was there as a key witness comes forward and says something, this is pretty much just going to go to court, and then nothing might even happen, because if she doesn't talk, so I don't know. We'll see. It's definitely a weird and interesting case, especially with so many high profiles attached to it. So, I'm sure eyes are going to be fucking every day. People are going to be scouring the internet to see if any little breadcrumb gets dropped or whatever, Maybe Tori says, I'm back on Twitter or something. Oh my gosh, look what he wrote on Twitter. Just fucking one little, he's going to be like the next Tekashi 6ix9ine, basically. He fucking says one thing and the fucking internet is a blaze,
You said his name. How dareth thee?
Oh, I know, right? By the way, they kicked him off of Instagram. I don't know if I don't know if he quit Instagram or if he got kicked off Instagram, but he's not on Instagram right now. People were trying to get him kicked off because the whole pedophilia thing. I'm not trying to defend him by any means because I don't really like the guy or care for him, but he had like a weird video back in the day where like he was I don't know. It's still weird and it's not good. So yeah, get him off the
talking about
internet.
that case he had, the first case he had. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some weirdo little kid shit or whatever. I don't give a fuck about people lying or not. I don't know, but anyway. Next up, let's go stick with these rap artists. Logic, your boy, he's retiring from hip hop. Congratulations, Logic, because he had a son. I don't know if that's the reason why he's retiring, and he also got remarried. So now he wants to be a family man, do the dad thing, and he also is partnered with Twitch right now. Real quick, let's just get a little. What do you guys think about this? Logic's departure from the hip hop culture.
I mean, it's a sad day anytime you lose really, really good artists. Like no matter what field they're in, no matter what genre they're in, losing Logic is pretty much the same as losing the Gambino from rapping. It's like they were so intricate, they were so purposeful in their design and their mechanism when it came to making albums and making music and making you feel like you were a part. Number one, being a part of the process, that you were in the same room as them when they were doing this. Logic did a lot of behind the scenes stuff. He's like, this is how I make my music. This is how I make my songs. And he was so like open hearted about a lot of his stuff. And just to hear him, like he made that, I was talking about earlier about that song Legacy, hearing all that stuff his ex-wife was saying to him, to get him to stop rapping, all the way in that back of the past. And like, I've never heard other rappers go through and say certain things like that are straight up like personal things that he didn't even try to turn around and try to save face with it. He was just like, no, this is what it is. This is how I'm gonna say it. This is how she was saying it to me, exactly how I gave it to you, and this and that. And then I'm really going to miss Logic's music. Like I went through this whole week. I listened to every single album he had, like back to back to back. I forgot about a few songs. I forgot about a couple albums that were out there. If you go back and listen to that song, that album Everybody Hates, which is called Everybody, which is kind of awkward, but that was actually a gem, a real nice gem. Nobody liked it because it had the one in, because it, oh no, not the 1-800 song, but nobody really liked it because that was in the middle of his I'm Black and White, tirade he went through, but he's definitely going to be missed.
Yeah, I can attest to that as well. I've always, like, I'm not gonna say always, but I've been a fan of Logic since I've been in the military, basically. I listened to a lot of his music whenever I was on deployments, just because I had a group of artists that I would listen to all the time, which would be mostly like the J. Coles and Kendricks, and I listen to Logic a lot. And it's kind of like Daniel said, it is kind of sad to see that he is retiring. Obviously, for his reasons. He obviously is starting over with his family, and he wants to be able to make sure that he can be there in his family life. Because the one thing that I've always appreciated about Logic is, unlike other artists that take years and years and years to come out with projects, we've seen, what is it, like 8 to 9 projects in the last
8 to 9 years.
6 years. Yeah, it's just been year after year after year. There's always been something. So there was never, and it didn't. And for me, at least, I've been a Logic fan, just like I said. So it's never felt like it was too oversaturated for him. It just felt like this is just another step in his growth and his development. I like No Pressure. I really love that album. I feel like it was a really good sequel to Under Pressure. I know that we're going to be doing some stuff as a podcast, talking a little bit about some playlists later, but it does suck. But I mean, just like how we said with Childish saying that he's going to be retiring here soon, it's something that happens. We lose people all the time. I'm just thankful that it's not losing him because he passed away, but actually losing him because he's just trying to go on to a better portion in the next set of his life.
Yeah, there's not a better way to leave than to focus on being a dad, because the world definitely needs more dads. Children definitely need their fathers around. So I'm actually happy that he's taking the time to make sure he is going to be a loyal father, and I'm pretty sure whatever happened with his ex-wife, he doesn't want to happen again. So he's going to take the necessary steps to be available, to be around, to not be touring 8 months out of the year, and then a couple Thursdays here and there. He's going to make sure he's around for every holiday, every birthday, to take the son to go play football, basketball, whatever sport he's in. If there are sports when he grows up, who knows the way we're going. But
I know, right?
but I could, man, it's just a sad day, because it really makes you feel old, bro. These people saying, when I roll out of bed, in the mornings, that's when I really feel old. It's like, no, when I wake up and I turn on my music and I realize there's no more Logic and no more Gambino, one day there's going to be no more Drake. Like, it's going to be like, man, we're going to be stuck with these pill popping kids for the rest of our lives.
Well, you never know. Maybe
they'll change and evolve too, just like everybody else.
Somewhere in this generations of music, we'll get something out there that's like the Kendricks and like the Coles and like the Logics and the Gambinos. Well, I'm pretty sure it's not all going to be like what we hear right now.
You got to think about those three guys that are like, what do they say, the mind, the heart, and the soul of the hip hop game right now. The same thing is going to happen again. It's going to be cyclic, and basically, the majority is going to be talking about drugs or like stuff like that, trying to turn up or whatever. But then there's going to be three people to replace that same style, and then they're going to be at the top. And then when you think about Drake, Kendrick Lamar, and J. Cole, they're a rarity in today's hip hop world. So it's kind of to be expected. Like, it's gonna if it'll happen again, but then the real is always going to be the top. But then like the generic, the general is just always going to be like, okay, this is popular and you're making some money, but that's a lower ceiling because there's only so much you can talk about.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah, I was just thinking what artists could take like Logic's mantle, can pick up where he left off. And the only one that really came to my mind was YB and Cordae. I feel like that's the only guy that can really, dive into his own little bag the same way Logic would be able to dive into his own bag. I don't know what you guys feel about, who could take his mantle.
That's actually kind of complicated, just because I feel like Logic has a lot of nerd involvement in he did at least. I don't know about so much anymore. Well, no, I still think so. Like, he's heavily influenced by like nerd culture too.
Yeah.
So like, I think that's like a big thing that goes into his thought, not his thought process, but like his creativity. And with that being said, I feel like he attacks music in a different way than most people do. I don't know that most people can rap as fast as he did, say some of the things that he said. And a lot of it is just because of like, he says a lot of dark things or talks about what's going on in his mind a lot, probably more often than he realizes. And I think that is kind of something that is becoming more acceptable in like the Black community, which is ultimately the hip hop community. And as long as that kind of continues to go forward, you'll probably be able to see more people who are like that or more people with that ability to do so. But for right now, Logic's just kind of different. He's a bit of a nerd and a bit of a hip hop head. And somewhere along the way, hopefully we'll find somebody who's kind of the same combination of both, some kind of crazy fanatical genius in the hip hop game, but also like a crazy eccentric nerd at the same time. And they can combine those two worlds together and make a sort of a new Logic or somebody similar to him. Like, I couldn't even say somebody like Joyner Lucas is like him or like Tech Nine or whatever. Those two guys on Sriracha, and they're fast rappers, sure. Even Eminem to that regard. They're fast rappers. There's a lot of fast rappers, but there's not a lot of fast rappers who are literally speaking their mind or who are involving so much kind of nerd stuff like Rubik's cubes. He had the whole little like jumpsuit that he had going on, like the NASA thing or whatever. What else? He had like his backgrounds for his freaking shows were pretty much all anime and stuff too. Like Little Uzi is like does that too. He has like anime inspirations or like nerd inspirations, but he's not rapping like Logic is. So it's like right now we have people who have bits and pieces of it, but they don't have the whole piece, you know. But I'm sure we'll find it at some point or another, and people are going to get better and better over time, especially the younger guys. Their craft is just going to go up and up and up, and hopefully they're going to just, you know, destroy the game with, you know, their lyrical content. Real quick too, I just wanted to mention that first and foremost, Daniel, you called that about his wife years ago. When he first announced that this was his last album, I think he said that for everybody, and then Young Sinatra 4 came out. You had first said that was his wife saying that.
Yeah.
And I was like, you think so? And you were like, yeah. And I was like, well, I mean, it's possible. I guess I could see why you think that. And then, you know, all right, it'll make sense now because, you know, he divorced her and decided to come back to that same little topic or whatever and say, oh, it's just going to be the last Young Sinatra, you know, instead of saying, oh, it's the last album or whatever, you know.
Yeah, I was definitely not feeling him. I'm like, you have 1,000 songs in your computer. I know it. You have 6 other albums in you. There's no way. Like, I know this is pressure from the wife saying you need to be home for your kid. And then I heard Legacy. I was like, yep, told you.
And then and which makes it kind of unfortunate that he needs to do that, or he feels he needs to do that as far as his career. But Logic has also worked himself into a position where he doesn't need to rap anymore, which is probably like every rapper's like ultimate dream. It's so not every rapper's ultimate dream, but it's like it's always so weird to me because I feel like when you're like a young rapper or you're like, you know, you have dreams and aspirations of being a famous rapper, you want the cars, the money, be able to put your people on, you know, buy your mama a house and a Lambo or whatever the freak you want to do, you know. So like you have those goals in mind, and then when you get them, it's kind of like where are your goals next? I feel like people don't really see past that, and then some people are just like, I mean, I got money, I'll just invest in a business or, you know, put this money somewhere or whatever. And I've noticed that Logic has really put himself into a position where like rapping is fun for him, or it was fun for him or whatever. You know, obviously he doesn't really like the criticism so much, but he put himself into a position. And I remember I complained about this to you too, Daniel, that I was kind of mad and basically jealous that he was able to put out a book and it become like a New York Times bestseller instantly because he already had a fan base. So it was like he didn't need to work hard to like put a book out and you know, like try to like peddle it to people and like hope that it becomes like a bestseller or something. It was like this guy already has millions of fans. He's selling out all these different venues, you know, like there's no way like he's gonna have millions of people literally buy the book the first day it comes out because of all his fan base. You know what I mean? I don't know what his sales are looking like right now for that book. They could have dropped significantly, but as soon as the book came out, I'll best believe hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people bought that book off rip for sure. And which is awesome for him. And now he's talking about doing. I know later on he started talking about doing movies. Like a year ago, he was talking about doing like he has a script that he's working on or whatever that he wants to present it to whatever director or whatever. You know, he's got meetings and stuff going on. It's like he worked himself into that position, and it's like because of his content and stuff that he talks about too. I'm sure that it makes it a lot easier for him to be approached by like famous directors or like business people and like, you know, not to bring up the race card again, but white people in general. You know, he's not out here talking about, you know, gang banging and like, you know, like, oh, I'm spinning the block and fucking busting a drop or something. You know, he's out here talking about, you know, the things that go on in his mind or whatever. He's talking about more positive things to a degree too, you know, family stuff now, just kind of spitting bars. And he's a fun guy and a lot of people like him. He's a good influence overall. You know, he's not out here doing a bunch of negative stuff, named constantly in the news, like for a bunch of bad things or whatever. Right. So why wouldn't people want to approach him, or why wouldn't somebody want to meet him or whatever, you know? Plus he looks white too. You know, I get he's half white, half black, but he looks white too. And that makes it a lot easier, you know, to get away with a lot of stuff, you know? So, you know, but kudos to him. I'm super happy for him. I think that No Pressure was a pretty good album overall. I liked it. I definitely want to listen to that song Legacy again. I don't even remember it, to be honest. My favorite song was Perfect. And after that, I think
Legacy.
There was another
Legacy
one
was off Young Sinatra 4.
It was on Young Sinatra. Okay, so I definitely have to listen to it again because I listened to Young Sinatra 4 like one time and that was it. But I'll definitely check that out again. But I overall too, this is touching on what DJ said about like saturation. So Logic is kind of an interesting case study for me just because when I think of oversaturation, I'm thinking of guys who are dropping like 2-3 projects a year, like a Trippie Redd or something, right? That guy's constantly dropping music. There's other artists that do it too. Some that take crazy long hiatuses. Logic is like in a weird place where he's like right perfectly in the middle. He hasn't ever really gone too far or too far along without having dropped a project ever since I've been introduced to him. And I was introduced to him through Under Pressure, and that was in 2014, I want to say, like towards the end of 2014. And I know he had like 4 mixtapes before that, Young, Broken, Infamous, and like the whole Young Sinatra series, right? And then he had Under Pressure. I think in 2015 that's when he dropped Tits, and then I think 2016, like, and I don't even think that was that far off. Like maybe like a half a year, maybe he had dropped Bobby Tarantino, and then I guess in 2017 he dropped Everybody. 2018 he dropped Bobby Tarantino 2. Last year he dropped a what is it, a Dangerous Mind or whatever,
Confessions.
yeah, there you go. Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. And then, of course, this year he dropped freaking No Pressure. So, like, I've always kind of felt like for me, and like as a Logic fan, like, and me and Daniel had talks, and I've had like my loss of interest in Logic at different points. Like, man, this is like he's saying the same stuff. It's getting repetitive. Oh, cool, you can rap fast, but you're not really giving it to me. But then I always have like my couple songs that I usually like from him that like, and I usually tend to go for his like darker thought like songs, you know, where he's kind of like seems like he's like contemplating all this stuff that people are saying, which is like it sucks because I kind of hate that he shows that weakness sometimes, but at the same time, he's just kind of being real and like keeping it real. And I appreciate that, you know, to a degree, like that he can just kind of generally say this, like, you know, regardless. And he knows he's going to get trashed for talking about being half white, half black all the time. He knows he's probably going to get trashed for just kind of talking about his feelings all the time or whatever. But he still does it regardless. And it's just kind of like, well, you're just keeping it 100, you know, you're being real about it or whatever, you know? But I feel that like in my own, this is my own thought process. I feel like Logic needed one of those 2 to 3 year hiatuses to come back and then just be like the best. That's just my opinion, because me and Daniel had a talk recently too, where I said Under Pressure, I think it's his best project still. A lot of the one like Tits was super good. I really liked that project, and then for me, it kind of like dwindled off a little bit, you know, per project. Not that they were none of them. I don't think any Logic project is under like a 6 at the least, but I don't think that his work has been as up to par as it was when he was first coming up, you know, hungry, you know, trying to get those bars in, you know, trying to make the best songs possible, you know what I mean? And now it's just kind of more refined, and it's like there's less of like a relatable struggle in the music. So you're just kind of like, oh, okay. And then that's why I like the song Perfect, because it's like sometimes I just want to hear rappers talk that shit, and Logic never does that. So when I heard that song and on that beat, I was like, go ahead, talk that shit. And then if you listen to the end of the song too, he still has a message talking about cops leaving bodies in the street. So it's like Logic's always got a message. You just kind of got to dig, like really listen. Because if you're not listening, you're just going to get bored, and you're going to be like, man, he's saying the same stuff. I don't care to hear this, man. I haven't heard this 1,000 times, but you're not listening though. You probably heard of one line where he said, I'm half white or half black, or I'm sad, I'm tired of reading these comments. And then you tuned out the entire rest of the song and didn't pick up the actual message of the song. But
he's talking to you, Joe.
I feel like it wouldn't. But I feel like it wouldn't matter though if he took a 2 to 3 year hiatus to, you know, to like do whatever he needed to do, then come back with another album. I think that it wouldn't matter what he said, people would just want to hear from him. And that's like the one thing I feel like Logic missed, is that like I'm sure it has something to do with like ADHD or like, you know, his attention span or something. Like he gets this itch and needs to start doing it or whatever, like, you know, let out this creative juices or whatever. So like maybe that's what it is. But like if he could just sit his happy ass down somewhere and be happy for once, like what he's about to do right now, hopefully, and just go away. And then I don't think this is the last Logic album personally. I don't see how it could possibly be. You know, you invest so much time and effort into something. I think it'll be a while before we get something, but I almost guarantee we'll get something from him.
I can almost guarantee we get something else from him. He's going to Twitch. I mean, I feel like his crowd's going to get in there. You know, he's going to get all these different ideas submitted from all his fans when he's going to be in there, whenever he's going to be in there twitching. I guess, is that what you call it? Twitching or streaming, sure. whatever you call it. He's going to be doing, and he's playing his video games and all that. But a lot of people didn't realize where his vlogs that he was putting out on YouTube, on his YouTube channel. He was going ham with the content on that as well. So technically he could just do his vlog stuff the whole time, and you know, he could vlog his whole life out right now, and everybody would just be clamoring to see it because they're going to be missing his music and missing his influence on the culture. And a lot of people are going to notice his influence on the culture once he's gone. People are going to look up and be like, remember that Logic dude? It's going to be just like his skits. That guy Logic, man, this was the best album. It's what
and it's kind of the same thing that I was thinking too. Whenever because I remember you guys talking about it a long time ago, and you said that it wasn't him that was making the decision to retire when Young Sinatra came out, but it was more of his wife at the time that was telling him, you're going to take a break. But at this point, I kind of feel as though, like you were saying, with that little hiatus that you think that he needed. At this point, I think I would have preferred him taking that hiatus out after Young Sinatra and then coming out with something, I don't know, 2-3 years down the line. Because if you think about it, like I could completely see that as well. As taking, I feel like Logic will come back because you're giving time with your family, you're doing all this stuff right now. Obviously, you want to take care of these kids while they're young. But as they start to get older, it allows him that freedom. And with all the stuff that he's going to do on Twitch, and just like how Daniel was saying, with all the fans that are going to be clamoring for something new, you can't tell me that he's not going to provide something like over Twitch, over YouTube that will eventually turn into a project. So, I mean, I could definitely see him coming back. I could definitely see him coming back in a couple of years.
Or he could just be pulling a Gambino, and he's just going to start singing from now on.
Oh my God. In sports news, AB got suspended for 8 games, whether he's signed or not. It's so crazy that Antonio Brown is still kind of even a thing. At this point, I definitely think he just needs to hang up the cleats and just kind of, forget it all.
How do you suspend a retired player?
I don't know.
I just think it was insult to injury.
Yeah. I know it has to do with the case, the court case that he has going on right now. But so I'm assuming, they just wanted to make sure like, oh, even if you try to come back, this is the repercussions you're facing, if he tries. Not that he will. I don't know how much money he has sitting around, but unless he's made some like crazy great investments, I can't imagine he has like the most money of anybody in the world right now, Also with the NFL, or not with the NFL, but with the other sports, NBA and MLB have resumed. It looks like the MLB, though, is probably going to, stop sometime here soon because every other day you hear about players from various teams being diagnosed with COVID, or the staff or whoever. And obviously, if all these people and all these players are catching COVID, then more than likely we're not going to have a finish to the MLB season. In which case, I mean, would you guys be okay with that? I mean, people probably thought it was going to happen anyway. So, I mean, why keep risking it? Why continue this any further?
I mean, honestly, people love baseball. Baseball is the American sport, as you could say, but even more so than football. I think it's been around longer than football. I personally, I wouldn't have minded them saying, "Hey, we're not going to come back this season," because they're supposed to start their season in March, and it's August already. Like, y'all, okay. I could definitely see them not playing in the games. I feel like they shouldn't. I feel like they're all just trying to squeeze in all these athletes in here just to give the people entertainment, the people that are bored out of their mind, sitting at home not doing any work, or people that are pissed off and angry like me and trying to give us something to distract our minds off of, CV-19 and all that. But I feel like it's the moment. This is the year to where people need to be like, okay, enough. Enough is enough for now. Let's focus on getting everybody healthy. Let's focus on, getting make sure everybody can pay rent before we worry about, who's going to pay for the NBA League Pass this year, stuff like that, But I am kind of happy that they're playing, just after saying all that, just because there were so many storylines, especially this Houston Astros story. I wanted to see them get hit every game. I wanted every pitcher come out there sniping, headshots, leg shots, back shots, all of these people. And I got to see the first glimpse of that when they were playing the Dodgers. So I was like, oh, yes.
I was going to say, didn't somebody get suspended for a couple of games, a Dodger player?
No, it was 8 games. Damn. Spending him 8 games just for throwing at those players. And with the season that's only 60 games, that's pretty hefty. Everybody was saying that should be at least, at the very most 2 games. 2 or 3, but I feel like they just wanted to make an example of him. So, because I'm pretty much guaranteed any team was wanting to play the Astros just so they could hit them, so they give them a piece of their mind. They're pretty much making an example out of him.
Yeah, that's got to be rough. NBA has been going as well, and things have been running sort of smoothly. Some players have been trying to escape their little, the bubble that is Disney World, I guess. And who was it? Lou, what's his name? Lou Williams?
Yeah, Lou Williams.
Yeah, Lou Williams. He went to Magic City after a funeral, I guess, and ordered some chicken strips. Some exotic dancer has come out and said that Lou tipped her very well, which also obviously adds to the fact that he was at a strip club.
Is that a sex?
I don't really know. I don't really know if leaving the bubble like that should have been a big deal regardless, because let me say it like this. I don't think him going to a strip club should have been that big of a deal. He left the bubble and went to a public place. He had to go on a plane. He had to go see people. He had to be next to people. He probably had to buy a suit of some sort, even if he went back or go back home or whatever, and be around people regardless. He wasn't in a fucking hazmat suit when he left the bubble. So why would, you guys were going to have to do this regardless, whether he just went to the funeral and came back, or whether he went to the funeral, went to the strip club, and then came back. Regardless, no matter what, you were going to have to separate him from the rest of the players. That would just be the safest thing to do. So I don't really see the big deal about it. It didn't really matter. It doesn't make a difference to me personally. Or it doesn't make a difference as far as it making sense. This was the precaution you guys were going to have to take regardless if he went to the strip club or not. He left the bubble. You want all the players here in the bubble. They can't even leave to get Uber Eats from the bubble. So what makes you think that him going all the way back home to go to attend a funeral and coming back would be different than that? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, definitely not. It's just, it's bound to happen. Players got wives, some don't got wives. They got their ladies on the outside, and some got extra ladies on the outside of that. They're stuck in a hotel. I've been following JaVale McGee's YouTube. He started a YouTube channel, and he was showing, inside the bubble is what he calls it. And he's like, pretty much they wake up in the hotel. They work out in the hotel. Anytime they need to have free time, it's in the hotel. So it's a melting pot pretty much of emotion in there. Then I need to get out of here. Nobody likes feeling chained up. Nobody likes feeling stuck anywhere, even if that is because of a pandemic or anything like that. It's just human nature to want to get out and to be free. And Zion did it too. You don't hear as much about it from Zion, but Zion was out there wilding for a second, along with Lou Williams. But I guess it's because Lou Williams plays for the Clippers, and they're expected to win the championship. People care more, I guess.
And that's pretty much it for this episode. Last but not least, we'll just have some announcements on new releases. On music, Beyonce's Black is King, a visual album, was released today. Movies and TV, we got Transformers War for Cybertron. It's a trilogy series. The first part has been released right now, and I guess it's supposed to take place, this part takes place before the fall of Cybertron. It's a totally different story too, so it's kind of interesting, but it has the G1 characters. Check it out. Umbrella Academy season 2. It's about a bunch of brothers and sisters, not biologically, but because of adoption. They have superpowers, some kind of pretty weird and interesting superpowers, and they're traveling in time in this one, so it's a little bit of a twist for this season as well. And that is about all I have. So unless there's anything further, this will be another installment of Culture by the Uncultured. We hope you guys enjoyed it. Please be sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Culture by the Uncultured. Hope you guys are all being safe out there and social distancing, and let's get through this whole pandemic together, guys. See you guys next time. Later.